Thanks to you, I'm much obliged. Such a pleasant stay.
What's going on, everybody? How we doing? It is Monday, August 19th. This is the Stop Me Project. We're coming at you on this beautiful August Monday midday. It's been a while since my last recording, last episode. Before I go any further, last time we talked, I had a 24-hour race that was coming up. I was getting ready for that, and it was the week leading into that race. Unfortunately, due to the heat and humidity, which I talked about in the podcast, it was too much for the city of Philadelphia to want to be responsible for. So the 20 and 24 race that I had been training for as my A race for the beginning of this year was canceled, and I have to say, to a certain extent, I was a little bit relieved, just because of how hot and how disgusting the weather had been, and I was a little nervous as to what the outcome was going to be, what it might possibly do to me in the long run, physically, what kind of damage I might have done to myself. So it's put a lot of effort and energy and getting ready for that race, and unfortunately it was canceled, at least postponed. I just got an email over the weekend that they were rescheduling the race to September, the end of September. I believe it's like the 21st, 22nd, something along those lines. Unfortunately, it's the 21st, 22nd. Unfortunately for me, I have a race scheduled in Colorado on the 28th, a 50K, the Uber 50K. So, I don't think I'll be able to do a 24-hour race and then the week following do a 50K at 10,000 plus feet. So I'm going to bypass or forego the 2013 edition of the 20 and 24. I was also given the option to defer to 2014. They have a race in Austin on the in the month of May that I could defer to, or I could do the 2014 Philadelphia race. Excuse me. Excuse me. The 2014 race in Philadelphia, I believe, will be in either September or October. So there's always that option for 2014. But, I don't know if I'm going to venture down that road. I think I might be a little bit more interested in some of the 100-mile races coming up in 2014. And that's even if I continue to race that at those longer distances. Thinking, possibly getting ready for Boston 2014, and then possibly focusing on some shorter races again for a bit. Just don't know if it's been the weather out here on the East Coast, the heat and humidity. It's been much cooler in the month of August, but July really definitely kicked my ass, and I've just been having a hard time recovering from workouts and training, strength training and stuff like that. So I was holding on through August so I could get through the camp, which I'm going to spend some time talking about here. So I may just take a little bit of a break for a week and then kind of regroup and reevaluate some goals and some objectives and some things like that. So we'll see. I'll keep you posted. Hopefully this sounds a little bit better now that I've got a microphone working with rather than just a computer microphone, and be a little bit more inclined and willing to put out some podcasts now that the sound quality is going to be better. So that's kind of what's been going on here. The main thing I wanted to report to today, or talk about today, was I just returned from my annual trek into the Poconos for the Running Works cross-country running camp. It is a high school cross-country camp for high school-aged athletes getting ready for the fall cross-country season. And they all get together at wonderful, beautiful, lovely Camp Canadensis, which is nestled in the, Pocono Mountains, if you can call them that. Nice area. Very, I guess you would say, secluded, out in the woods, in cabins, and just there for the sole purpose of running, getting better at running, learning more about running, and I've written some blogs about running camp, and I've been going to Running Works now this was my 5th year there. Before that, I had spent some time and done some work as a coach and a counselor, and even as an athlete back in the day at the what used to be called the Colt Camp, and then I believe became the Heath Camp and is now the Bennett Camp, but it's run by the guys up at Christian Brothers Academy in Lincroft. Theirs is in Pennsylvania as well. I believe it's a little bit further north than where we were, but I mean, in some capacity or another, either as an athlete or as a counselor or as a coach, I've been attending running camp in the summer in August for quite a few years. I started high school in 1990 or 1991, and that was my first year at camp. And I've missed a few summers here or there for various reasons, but I always try to make it back to running camp. It is just a great week, and it just reminds me of a simpler time. When starting off in high school, your only concern was going to school and running, and to go stay in the woods for a week, and all you have to do is eat, sleep, and run. It's about as close as you can get to being living the life of what a professional runner probably lives, where they're training twice a day and they're doing other sorts of drills and activities, and the rest of their day is just filled with eating and recovering, resting. It just reminds me of a pretty simple, carefree lifestyle, stress-free. It's a very enjoyable experience. The camp is called Running Works. It is run by a couple people, Marcus O'Sullivan being one of them. He is a college NCAA Division I coach at Villanova University. He is also a 4-time Irish Olympian. He was at one point in time, I believe, the mile indoor world record holder, possibly in addition to as well the 1500 or vice versa. Great guy, great athlete, and knows a heck of a lot of stuff. And he is founder of the camp and the clinics with Steve and Cricket Shackley, who are very knowledgeable, great people. Steve is the coach at Cherokee High School. I believe he holds a USATF Level 2 certification in the area of endurance. And Cricket was also the coach at the University of Pennsylvania. So very knowledgeable group, and they put together a great staff, and I'm always excited to work and see everyone. It's kind of like, for me, especially now that I'm been out on the West Coast, it's kind of like a reunion. I don't really get to see some of these people as often as I used to when I was coaching in New Jersey. So it's always great to get to spend a week with these folks and reunite and just, like I said, just focus on running and having fun and just talking about running and a lot of good stuff. So my hat's off to Marcus, Cricket, and Steve for putting together a great camp with a great staff. The staff consisted of 42 coaches and college athletes. Of those 42 staffers, there was 7 college coaches, NCAA coaches at various levels, Division I, Division II, Division III. And there was, in addition to those NCAA coaches, there were coaches from various parts of New Jersey as well as Pennsylvania. So it was a very knowledgeable staff, great group of people. We had some All-Americans. There were 3 NCAA All-Americans, 2 NCAA Division I All-Americans, 1, I believe, in the 5,000, and the other at the 10,000 meters. And then the third one was a Division III All-American in the steeplechase. So it's a great group of people, like I said, and it's always a great week. Camp consisted of 240 campers, which is awesome. Some of the other camps that I've been a part of in the past, the numbers weren't as high. This Camp Running Works does a great job of getting the numbers and getting the word out there. I believe we're going to have a meeting next week to discuss some things for future growth and future camp ideas. So hopefully I'll be able to attend that next week so I can have some input and give my input into some things that I think could help to make the camp a better overall. It's a great camp, but there's always little tweaks here or there. You could help dial things in a little bit better. I'm looking forward to going back and doing my thing next year for year number 6. Weather was great. We had a great week. We had a little bit of rain early in the week on Tuesday in the morning, and I'm not a fan of running in the rain, but it wasn't too bad. It was luckily when we were actually out, the rain wasn't coming down too heavy. It was at times when we were in the cabins and stuff where it was coming down pretty hard. But for the most part, after that rainy day, it was beautiful, clear, crisp skies, and the temperature wasn't super hot, and it even on I think Wednesday and Thursday got down below 50 degrees in the evening and in the early morning. And again, being out on the West Coast the last year, it was quite chilly. Reminded me a bit about of the winter out in San Diego, as it did get down below 50 degrees a few times in San Diego. And it definitely reminded me very quickly that I do not like being cold, and even being prepared, I still have a tendency to get a little cold and need to figure something out to remedy that. Who knows, maybe I need to go to South America for the winter, or Australia or New Zealand where it's summertime there. But I do not like the cold. Once it goes below 50 degrees, I am a complete wimp. I do not enjoy it at all. But it was beautiful up there. Weather was great. The temperatures were great for running, and it's amazing how crisp and clear the skies are when you don't have that humidity weighing it down. It's just like a whole nother world, and you really appreciate the beauty of things when it's that crisp and enjoyable. So weather was great. During the camp, I have been assigned the past couple years as a strength and conditioning coach. I've been assigned the task of giving the talk on strength training for high school athletes. So every day after breakfast from about 10:30 to about lunchtime, about 12 o'clock, so about 90 minutes or so, I would talk to a couple of the groups at a time about the importance of strength training and why you should do it, what things you should do, that sort of stuff. So, I mean, we didn't have any equipment or anything like that, so I didn't really get into, the importance too much of, deadlifting or pressing or any sort of movements with equipment. My main focus was talking about posture and position and, how it starts with when you're just standing. And, first demonstration that we did, I just had everyone stand up, and we kind of corrected people's posture and talked about why we should stand the way the right way, and why we should always be addressing that, and then how to strengthen that and make sure that reinforcing that posture, it becomes permanent. So that's kind of where we started, talking about posture and position. And then I talked a bit about the importance of gymnastics for running, and how gymnastics has really helped me develop a better sense of midline stability, core stabilization, kinesthetic awareness, all that stuff. Talked about why push-ups are good, but then at the same time why we don't want to overdo things with constantly pushing things, why we want to focus a little bit more on pulling, and why pull-ups are a better exercise than push-ups. And we covered squatting, and I went over a squat technique and how to do air squats, and it was interesting to see. Push-ups is just one of those things. Squats are just one of those things where coaches really just same as running. Coaches just assume that athletes know how to do those things when they get to that high school level. It's just assumed that they know how to run, they know how to do a push-up, they know how to do a squat. So when they say, okay, it's time to do strength training, they give them the workout to do, or they tell them what to do, or how many reps to do of it, but very rarely are they breaking down the technique and showing the movement and how to move properly and where they need to be in position. So many athletes I saw over the course of the week setting up for their push-ups with their hands in poor position and placement, and shoulders way back behind the hand, and breaking in the middle, and we just spent some time correcting those positions and teaching them how to move, with through flexion and extension with external rotation, and why we don't want to let the elbows pop out. So we spent a good time with that, and then the same sort of stuff with the squatting, is that kids just they don't know. They just do what either they've seen or what they've interpreted as being the right squat, whether it's been, that's how they were taught or what. But, for the most part, if the kids were new to camp and hadn't been to my strength talk before, there was a good chance they had no idea really how to do push-ups the right way or how to squat the right way. And certainly there was a lot of lack of range of motion in both movements, and we talked about how we could eliminate that fear, especially with the push-up of if I go all the way to the floor, I'm not going to be able to get back up, so I'm not going to go all the way down. So we talked about how we could remove that fear and starting from the floor and pushing up rather than going down and coming back up. So hopefully that information that we talked about and those techniques that we talked about carry over, and those athletes, can reinforce those good techniques and practice those good techniques. And, if I see any of them again next year, they'll come back and they'll be able to do full range of motion push-ups with their hands in the proper position, and they're externally rotating their shoulders so that their elbows stay in and in an alignment. Hopefully they'll be squatting, below parallel, and they'll be able to stabilize the knee and the quadriceps so that the knee is stacked over the ankle and the shin remains vertical. Hopefully those things will stick, and hopefully that a good majority of those kids will be moving better, and by moving better in those simple positions, it'll allow them to be better cross-country runners and distance runners in track and field. So if I was able to get through to a few kids, then it was definitely worth it, and that's what makes it worthwhile, and why I look forward to always going back and doing it again, just to share what I've learned as a runner in the strength and conditioning world. And that's all it is. We all take things from other people and use other people's things and stuff, and I'm just trying to share what I've learned in the strength and conditioning world, because I think I don't think there's a lot of endurance athletes or cross-country coaches or track coaches or high school or college coaches that are willing to step into the strength and conditioning world to learn things. And I've just been that guy that, for whatever reason, for my own personal growth and health and wellness, that I got into strength and conditioning, and wanted to learn more and wanted to know how to do things like the snatch and the clean and jerk and the deadlift, even for my own. And then knowing that I knew how to do it, or had a pretty good idea how to do it, and felt comfortable teaching it, started teaching it to my athletes when I was coaching high school cross country. Because there is a benefit to using some basic lifts and some basic movements and becoming stronger, to have better posture, to use other muscles besides the quads and the hip flexor when running. All those things are very important, and can be helped by adding some strength and conditioning to your program. It's unfortunate, though, that what a lot of people are doing for what they consider to be strength or core work for training. Again, it's just they okay, let's do a plank, which is a good movement or a pose to do or use at some point in your training. But if you're not addressing the posture and the position and how to do it properly, you're wasting your time doing something like that. And it's as simple as lining up the vertebrae and being active, being rigid, squeezing and flexing the muscles so that the body is in a proper alignment, rather than just plopping yourself up there into a plank pose or a upright push-up position and okay, 30 seconds go, or 90 seconds, and it's they're not addressing the technique. And it's just if you're doing those things with poor movement patterns or poor technique, you're just reinforcing shitty patterns, so it's only going to make it harder for that person when they are learning or taught how to do it the right way. It's just going to make it more difficult. So that's the biggest thing, is that I was trying to make sure that the point got across that yes, all things are good, and there's no right or wrong. If you believe in what your philosophy is or what your strength program is, that's great. But let's take a look at it and make sure you're doing it properly, and you're moving and you're holding yourselves in the right positions, because chances are that you're not. And that's just my own personal experience, an observation of watching athletes and coaches all over, New Jersey, in California, and everywhere in between, where, there's a lack of addressing posture, position, and technique. And, if you're not addressing those sorts of things, you're only reinforcing bad habits, and eventually those bad habits will lead to some sort of ache or pain or injury. So my biggest thing over the week was just trying to impress upon the kids how important it is to maintain good posture and, strengthen those areas and make sure that they're correcting them. And as goofy as it is, something as simple as standing, there's a right way to stand and there's a wrong way to stand, and we all know the difference. We've all been told at some point in time by our parents to stand up straight, stop slouching. All that stuff is important. Now, do we do it all the time? Most likely not, but if we continually are constantly correcting our posture, is it going to make a difference in our performance? Absolutely. Absolutely. The better posture we have, the better we're going to perform. That's just simple. That's not even up for debate. Proper posture and position is going to lead to improved performance. Poor posture is going to lead to poor performance. And that's really all I tried to impress on the kids when I did my talk. I had, for my group, I had the C group boys, and it was a great group of kids. I had kids from PA, I had kids from New Jersey, a lot of kids from Jersey. I had some kids from Connecticut, and I might have had a kid or two from New York. And it's always great to get to work with, a group of kids that you normally wouldn't have the opportunity to, and I'm pretty sure that those kids are going to take back those things that they learned and hopefully use them to make themselves better and their teammates better. I don't ever want anyone to think that I feel that my way is the only way, or I'm the only one that's right, because that's not the case. Always looking for new ideas and looking to learn new things. But I think I have a pretty good idea of what it takes to improve, make distance runners, cross-country track runners better athletes and better runners, faster runners. So hopefully they got some stuff out of it. I know I had a great week, and hopefully they did too. So, yeah. If you're a runner and you haven't yet to get to a running camp, I recommend you do it. As an adult, I know that there are some adult running camps out there, some retreats, which would be pretty epic. You can go to some pretty cool locations and places to get some good running in. Yeah, it's a great week. I love it. It's one of my most favorite weeks of the year. Definitely one of the best weeks of the summer. And I look forward to getting back there every year. It's a fun time, and it just makes me feel good, makes me feel at ease, and I hope all the kids and all the coaches have great seasons and do well, and come back with great stories to tell and have more information to share. So that's about it. We got a little bit more time here, not too much. We're winding it down. Again, if you're looking for some ideas on how to run better, workouts that you can do, check out runningwad.com. There are running workouts up there. There are strength workouts up there. I also do individualized coaching, one-on-one coaching for just running. If you want strength and conditioning, or if you want both, I got all that covered. We can get you set. Just shoot me an email at rich@runningwad.com. And if you're in the market for omega-3 fish oil or a whey protein source, I would definitely highly recommend you check out strongerfasterhealthier.com. I believe it's now sfh.com. It's the best stuff on the planet in terms of omega-3 and whey protein. It's third-party tested for the fish oil. It's highest potency on the market. And the whey protein is from free-range grass-fed cattle, and they just have a new flavor, peach mango. Stop me, all caps, at checkout. We'll get you 10% off. Until next time, Stop Me Project. Peace.